Can money really buy you love? Many people that don't have money think that people with money find love easily, which is absolutely not true. And in this video, I'm going to reveal to you what happened to me when I went from having no money to having plenty of money and how my love life transitioned during that period. When I was younger, I found it much easier to actually find love. I was very genuine. I was an authentic kid. I never tried to be anyone who I wasn't. I didn't really care too much about the money circles. All I cared about was just trying to succeed. I was a young kid in the game and I was being extremely authentic to everyone I'd ever meet. Not to say that I'm fake to people now, but given some of the circles I hang out in, sometimes you have to kind of play it up a little bit higher, because then if you're in certain situations and you make yourself seem very small, you'll be out of place and you won't really be invited to those kind of circles again. So you have to be adaptable in certain environments. But when I was younger, I first fell in love when I was 21 years old. She was a beautiful Iranian girl that lived in London. We had a flourishing relationship and we really loved each other, and she was my first love. And she was actually a virgin. I'm not sure what my obsession was with having girlfriends that were virgins when I was younger. I guess I liked the idea of purity and innocence. And I still like that. I don't want a girl with high body count. That's just not sexy to me. I don't want no girl that's had 100 dicks inside her. To me, that's disgusting. You might be like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Why don't you just accept her past? Fuck you. I ain't going to accept that past. I want innocence and purity to a certain extent. I'm not talking about virgins, but come on. I don't want to know there's been 100 dicks inside that thing. Not where my child is going to pop out from. So that was my first relationship. And then as I was building my business, I was still broke. I didn't have that much money. I was still building up from scratch. But at that point, I was using some of the money to go abroad. So with Google, one of my first trips was to San Diego, Vegas, and LA. And funnily enough, I fell in love in the most unlikely of places, Las Vegas. And that relationship didn't last very long, but we were completely in love. And it wasn't my money at all. It wasn't my money that she fell in love with. And then the relationship after that was at a music festival. I met this girl at a music festival in Malta. It was called Lost and Found. It was Annie Mac's Lost and Found Music Festival. I was pretty smashed up on drugs and I met this girl and we just hit it off. And then I went to see her in Vancouver about 6 weeks later and we also fell in love. So the three times that I've been in love and been really deeply in love and absolutely had it reciprocated back to me, I didn't have any money. Now, here's the interesting thing. When I made my money, I made my first million at 27 years old. That was 10 years ago. There you go. You can now work out my age. Once I made that money, I haven't been in love ever since. I think I have felt like I could love someone, but it wasn't necessarily reciprocated back. And so that's a really strange thing. How come when I started making money and had the freedom, I didn't find love as easily, but beforehand, I found it much easier. Now, it might be the case that I was just younger and more naive and susceptible to it. And now, as you get older, you become more skeptical, which is a horrible thing to have to become. You don't want to become skeptical all the time and keep questioning people's motives. You want to be free and open-hearted, and you want to move with love and grace, hoping that you'd fall in love and that your individuality and authenticity will be reciprocated back to you. What I can tell you about whether money can buy you love or not is this. Once you have been in circles, and I've seen some of the poorest people and I've seen some of the richest people, and some of the richest people happened when I moved to Miami 2 years ago. I met some of the wealthiest people I've ever met, people with $50 million mansions. What I can tell you in that sense is that money buys you attention, but doesn't buy you love. If you have that kind of money, it usually buys you status, and status buys you attention, right? And attention is just girls checking you out, wanting to be around you, and wanting to free ride off the back of your resources. So money doesn't buy you love. Money buys you attention. You need to then convert that attention into love. But most of the time, these wealthy older men that I've hung around with and that are my dear friends in Miami do struggle to find love because those women are after them for one particular reason. Resources, resources, resources. Those girls know that they can ride off the back of these men for a very long time, go to lovely restaurants and sit on boats and sit in villas. Do they love them? They don't love them. They end up falling in love with the younger hotshot dude who treats them a bit like shit, who plays hard to get. That's the person they're dreaming of having sex with. while they're in bed with the 65-year-old guy with the mansion. So the answer is, does money buy you love? My answer to that is no, it doesn't. Money buys you attention because money buys you status and puts you in certain places where you're more available to be met by many people or by beautiful women. So most people listening to this are not going to be wealthy, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not sitting here telling you you need to get wealthy in order to find love and have a beautiful life. That's not true at all. If you are authentic wherever you go in this life, be who you really are, be a beautiful person, put your best self out there all the time. Energy and vibe, that's what buys you love. Every time I've been with women that say that they feel really strongly about me, and I have many women across the world that adore me right now, and that's because I've treated them with respect and I've treated them fairly. I don't seem to love them back, which is a damn shame. Otherwise, I'd be tied up right now with someone, I'd have a relationship, but it's just not meant to be. But every time I've moved with authenticity and love and grace and the right sort of energy with a good, loving, confident vibe, remember, authenticity with men is a real sense of masculinity. You're masculine, you're confident, you're aware of where you're going in life, you're happy with who you are. At that point, you will find that you'll be more susceptible to find love because women will be like, this guy is genuine and he's strong and he's confident. And this is the type of person that women tend to fall in love with.